Hey there, I'm Ken. This is Canadian Retro Things. Welcome. Today, I'm going to continue seeing if I can get that TRS-80 Model 1 working properly. As I've been working on this computer, I have discovered some really cool things about it. Like, for instance, if you have a bad keyboard connector, then when you boot the computer up, it will actually print on the screen what keys don't work. What a great thing to do. I mean, even if it's an accident that it does that, why didn't more computers do that? I mean, it would have been an amazingly good diagnostic tool. And the weird thing is that I could find no mention of that anywhere in any of the manuals or the service manuals or anything like that. But hey, it does it, and it's cool, and I wish more computers did that. Anyways, yeah, we've got that computer mostly working, but it's not 100%. It's way off center. Part of the screen's off the screen. I can't get it hooked in through my capture card. It's just not a strong enough signal. So the things I want to try and accomplish today is get that more centered so that I can see the whole screen on either a monitor or get it working with the capture card. And if I can get that accomplished, then I can try out that expansion module. I can try out the disk drive. I can try out some tape drive because I got discs. I've got tapes. I've got all kinds of things that I can play with, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. So hopefully that is what we'll accomplish today. But first, I have to give a big thank you to the sponsor of today's video, PCBWay. PCBWay, where you can get PCBs printed starting at only $5 for 10 boards. Not only can you have PCBs printed, but they also offer many other services like 3D printing, CNC machining. They even have assembly services for both through-hole and surface mount components. And if you're using the assembly service, you can provide the components, have PCBWay source them for you, or provide some components and have PCBWay source the rest. PCBWay offers so much more than just PCB printing. So why not visit them today at www.pcbway.com and PCB prototype the easy way. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to be testing out those two potentiometers that are on here. They're 100K ohms. So they're right here and right here. And I did spray them with a little bit of contact cleaner just to clean them out a little bit. Now we can test them. So we're getting about 46 there, and if I adjust it, that should be up. So it should be a higher number now, about 110. So that one seems to be working. Let's see, full all the way up, we're hitting about 120. All the way down, 0. Okay. So the other one is at about 50 right now, though that's not actually what the numbers were when I was got the stuff working in the last video, because as I said, I put the electrical contact cleaner on there, and it I did move them around a little bit just to get it swished around. So a little bit over 0, 0.9, so that's all the way down. And all the way up, about 118. So just under 118. So that means that both of these seem to be working properly. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hook this up to my capture card, and I'm going to fiddle around with those to see if I can possibly get them to give me a picture on my capture card. And here we go. We are ready to see if I can get the capture card picking this thing up. Right, off the bat, we are getting nothing. So let me just play with this off camera a little bit more, and we'll see what I can get. So, as you can see, I have managed to get this dialed in way better. See, you can read all of it memory size. So, that was accomplished. I still can't get the capture card to pick this up. But, as you can see, I now have another new message there. So, GOW_7/ and looks like space don't work. Which means the ribbon cable right here is basically toast. So time to change this, which means I have to find a new ribbon cable to put in there. Or I guess I could actually just undo all this and cut wires and just have wire. I'm going to get rid of this and we'll see what I'm going to do. So you may be wondering, why am I being so careful removing this ribbon cable that doesn't work anymore? Well, there's two reasons for that. One is that the more careful I am, the less chance I have of actually hurting my board here. So of course these old circuit boards can be rather delicate. And the other reason is that, well, anytime you have to do something like this, it's just good practice to, even if it's going to be a throwaway part, try and take it off like it's a reusable part. And that way you got good practice for when you do have a reusable part that you want to be more careful taking off. Now, I have been working at getting this thing off. The most annoying thing about this ribbon cable seems to be it's actually connected underneath the ribbon cable by solder to little metal bits on the ribbon cable. So, I mean, it is really hard to get off of the main board here. So, as I said before, I like to try and do this as neatly as possible, trying to pretend that I'm trying to save these things, but this is just impossible. So now that I've cut this little ribbon cable off, it's much easier to get at these little pieces that are in there to get them out. So I have half the ribbon cable that I'm going to need here, so I can begin the process of actually soldering this into place on here. And then, soldering the other end onto the keyboard. This is a long and arduous process, and yeah, my big sausage fingers love working on tiny little wires like this. But let's see if this works. I decided that separating each wire was a lot easier, so I separated them all, and it looks really messy now, but once the keyboard's on, they're all going to be separated and proper. Now, why did I do this? Well, these ribbon cables are awfully, close together for spreading out this much. Makes it very difficult to put these on. So you may be asking, well, why didn't I just put a connector on? It's very tight inside of this case, so there's not a lot of room for a connector. The other reason that I did it this way is that if I do end up having a problem, because I don't have a connector, if I had a connector I could just change the wire, but this way I only have to desolder one wire and change it if I have a problem again in the future. There we go, everything is connected. So, let's see that I actually connected everything properly. So I will test that it's connected. And there we go, we already found a short. There it is. So, I can see the wire sticking across there. And no longer shorting. Perfect. Now I just got to go through and do this to every single one of them. And it is now time to test out to see if this worked or not. Memory size with no errors. So there we go. It worked, it worked, it worked, it worked. So I guess that means it is time to put the cover back on this computer and maybe test out some other stuff like the expansion module. Just a second here. And let's print our memory. 15518. So about 16K memory. Okay, let's hook up this expansion pack thing here. Okay, I got the expansion pack hooked up here. So, first thing to do, turn it on. And now the computer. And we're getting the memory size. Level 2 basic, everything seems to be working. Print memory. 15572. Just going to check the connections on this and try that again. All right, and again. On. Ooh. That doesn't look right. If I hold the brake key down when I start it, it's going into memory size. Same amount of memory though, 15573. I've got everything hooked up here, including a disk drive, just to test out to see if this expansion interface is working or not, because if it's not working, then this disk drive shouldn't work. So I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole of reading about how to use this, and boy oh boy, I expected there to be a few differences, as this is one of the very first home computers, but it is quite significantly different than what I'm used to. So, obviously, expansion interface has to be turned on. And disk drive is on. And computer is on. And the TV's not working. Try this again. Okay, so expansion interface is on, disk drive's on, computer is on. Now, screen of garbage, that's normal. I have here a disk we shall put in, and now you have to hit the reset key, which is recessed in the back here, so. And it's loading up. Let's get this picture a bit better. And here we go. Zork, the Great Underground Empire. Copyright 1982 by Infocom. All rights reserved. West of the house, you are standing in an open field west of a white house with a boarded front door. There's a small mailbox here. Opening the mailbox reveals a leaflet. Welcome to Zork. Zork is a game adventure. So, the expansion interface is working. Zork is working. So, I guess I am going to pull the chair up and play some Zork. Making my videos would not be possible without the support of people like my channel sponsor, Retro Rewind. So if you're looking for things for your Commodore computer or Tandy color computer, then why not check them out? They have all kinds of parts for using or repairing your Commodore or Coco, and they even offer repair services. So visit them today at www.retrorewind.ca, and at checkout you can use my discount code of CRT10 to save 10% on your entire order. Also, they ship worldwide. I have played around with the disk drive for a while, and I guess it is now time to see if I can load anything from tape. Because boy, let me tell you, I have a lot of tape games. I don't have a lot of disk games. I have a lot of disk productivity software. Like for instance, here's some games. It's not completely full, but a few tapes of games here, so we're going to try one of them here. This is called Star Pilot, and it only requires 4K, so I don't have the expansion interface hooked up right now. Here we go. I'm assuming this is just C-Load M. Yeah, it didn't seem to work. Okay, I gotta just figure out what I'm doing here. Okay, the tape deck is now properly hooked up. User error, I had the cables hooked up wrong, so here we go. Now, just like on the modern, or the more modern, the color computers that I'm used to, C-Load, hit play. There we go. You can see there's flashing dots in the side. That means it's loading. The asterisk means it's reading something, and the dot is the data going in, or the flashing one is the data. There we go. You can see the flashing asterisk up in the top right-hand corner. That means that there's data loading. This is a relatively short game because it's 4K, so it shouldn't take that long to load. And it's ready. And obviously, because it was C-Load, it is a basic game. And now let's run it. In this simulation, you're to destroy a fleet of alien spaceships. When a ship is in the center of the target, fire by pressing the clear key. Number of rockets and alien ships will depend on your experience. The aliens become more evasive as the simulation progresses. How many years have you been a fighter pilot? 0. How many ships can you destroy? Well, let's just destroy 1. You are to destroy 6 alien ships. You have 33 rockets available. Okay, so this is Star Pilot. 31 rockets left, 5 alien ships left. Wonder if they took any inspiration there from, oh, I don't know, Star Wars? Huh. Kind of a neat little game. All right, so disk drive works, cassette works. I'm going to play this game for a little bit. Once I started playing Star Pilot, something tickled in my brain. It looked very familiar to me. Then it clicked. You may remember a video I did a while back going through a bunch of discs for my color computer. On those discs, I found a game I had never seen before. Space Fighter. Well, as you can see, this is the same game. Space Fighter was just updated with graphics and a slight difference in how you choose the enemies and the difficulty. Continuing with my education of the TRS-80 Model 1, I have here a game called Paddle Pinball, and it is a tape game, but this is a machine language game, and loading it is completely different from what I'm used to on my Coco 2 that I grew up with. On the Coco 2, you would type CLOAD-M, which stood for Cassette Load Machine Language. And once it's loaded, you would exec it, which is execute the program. Not on this. So, according to the instructions, you turn it on, you got your memory size, you hit enter, and then you type system. And then you get an asterisk with a question mark beside it. And now I just type pinball and hit play. And it was a pinball with one L. I typed it wrong, so we have to try that again. Pinball with one L. Okay, it should be giving me an asterisk on the screen saying that it's loading, which it's not. Does it need to be louder? Quieter? Haha, needed to be quieter. Take 3. Let's zoom in on the screen so you can see better what I'm doing. So we hit enter, type system, pinball, and the asterisk shows up, which means that it is loading. And you got one blinking, which means it's getting data. The second one means data is coming in. And partway through the loading, for some reason, one of the asterisks is changed into a C. I'm not sure what that means. And we now have another question mark, asterisk question mark there, which means that the loading is finished. And apparently to start the game, just type slash. Paddle Pinball with sound. Now, interesting enough, you may remember the interview that myself and L. Curtis Boyle did with Robert Kilgus, who actually is the person that discovered how to get sound out of this computer that wasn't originally designed for sound. This is the TRS-80 Model 1. You actually get sound out of the cassette port. I don't have that hooked up right now. You need an amplifier to hook the cassette cable into. I don't have that, but one of these days I am going to track something like that down and hopefully start getting sound out of this computer. There's also ways that I could just build a cable to go to an amplified speaker. Maybe I'll do that. Anyway, how many players? 1. Oh, there we go. Player 1. There we go. So this is a pinball game. I'm not very good at it. Of course, I'm standing at a funny angle. Anyway, as you can see, machine language game, it's working fine. So, yeah, just another one of the games that I have for this computer that I'm going to have some fun playing. There we go. I have to call that TRS-80 Model 1 100% working, which is just awesome. And as for the expansion interface, I think the fact that it's showing the same amount of memory as just the computer is kind of like with the Coco 1, 2, 3, where if you do a print memory statement, no matter how much memory you have over 32K, it's always only going to show 32K. If you have less, it obviously will show less. And the reason that I'm thinking that and not the other thing that maybe the expansion interface, the memory's not working or it's not there, is because I played Zork for a while and I never had any problems playing it. And it says it's for the Model 1 TRS-80 with 32K and 1 disk drive. And as that was only showing 16K, this game should not have run on there if that was all it had. So yeah, I think it's always a good way to test if you're not sure about how much memory you've actually got. Find a game that will only run on a higher amount than you, like if you think you have 64K but it only says 32K, find a game that'll only work on 64K. Try it. If it works, you've got the 64K. If it doesn't, then you've really only got the 32K. So yeah, I have a lot of games there to go through, and I'm hoping to find some hidden gems that I can do some videos about and really cool stuff like that. But yeah, I am jazzed that this is working, and I do still have to get that monitor working. It does not work. It's a CRT. I'm a little nervous about working on CRTs because it's not something I normally do, but I will get it working eventually. All right, well, yeah, I really don't have much else to say other than, yeah, I'm going to really super much enjoy playing with this TRS-80 Model 1. So thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to visit my sponsors without whom I couldn't make these videos. So that was PCBWay and Retro Rewind. And if you're at Retro Rewind, use CRT10 to save 10% on your order. So yeah, and also, since you're here, don't forget that the liking, the subscribing, the commenting, all that other YouTubey stuff does really help. So don't forget to do it. All right, until the next video, I will see you later.